The air in Sector 9 stank of oil, sweat, and filth. Smoke from broken vents drifted through the narrow alleys like ghosts searching for lost souls. Neon signs flickered. Alien merchants shouted in strange languages. And deep in the middle of it all, the flesh market was alive. This wasn't a place for the weak. And it sure as hell wasn't a place for humans. They were rare here. Hunted. Sold. Forgotten. But then, he walked in. No name. No friends. Just a man with a torn black vest, worn boots, and a shotgun slung across his back like it belonged there more than he did. He didn't speak. Didn't look around. He just walked, slow, calm, dangerous. The crowd moved out of his way, like prey sensing a predator. Even the guards in armor stepped back. He had no fear. Just fire in his eyes. At the far end of the market, a stage stood tall. Bright lights aimed at the center. That's where they put the most expensive ones, the ones meant for show. Meant for testing. Meant for pain. And standing under those lights was her. Tall. Purple skin like soft velvet. Long silver hair down to her waist. Barely clothed in metallic threads that shimmered around her curves. Chains on her wrists. Eyes full of fury. They called her Lot 88. The aliens in the crowd howled. Some laughed. One even shouted, "Let us test the product before we bid." Another tried to touch her. She flinched. But didn't beg. She just stared into the crowd, searching. Her lips moved softly. No sound. Just one sentence. "He's here." And she was right. The man had stopped. Just past the lights. Half his face hidden in shadow. One hand on his shotgun. Still calm. No one noticed him at first. They were too busy drooling over the girl. But then he stepped forward, boots clicking loud against the metal floor. A deep voice echoed. "Take your hands off her." Silence. Dozens of alien heads turned. Laughter followed. Loud, cruel, mocking. Another pet human, one alien jeered. "Looks like he wants to buy her." "With what?" "Dirt and sweat." "Shoot him," someone yelled from the crowd. And just like that, everything exploded. The shotgun fired. Boom. The alien with the loudest mouth dropped instantly, his chest torn open. Screams filled the market. Some ran. Some froze. The guards pulled weapons. But the man was already moving. Fast. Sharp. Like war itself. He reached the stage, blasted the chains off her wrists, and pulled her close. "Took you long enough," she said, breathing hard. "Traffic," he replied, cocking the shotgun again. They stood back to back now. She grabbed a rod from a dead guard. Her eyes burned with purpose. Aliens surrounded them. Some were angry. Others excited. Violence was part of the show here. "Kill them both," a voice shouted from above. Dozens of armed guards stormed the stage. The girl looked at the man and whispered, "Still fight like you used to." He smiled. "Wanna find out?" The next minute was chaos. He shot. She swung. Blood sprayed. Sparks flew. Bodies hit the ground. But they weren't fighting to escape. They were fighting for revenge. Flesh market guards fell one after another. The man didn't miss a shot. The girl didn't hesitate. And then, silence. Only bodies and smoke remained. She turned to him, breathing heavy. "So, what now?" He looked around. Took a breath. "Now, we end them all." But before they could move, a slow clap echoed from the shadows above. A tall alien in gold armor stepped forward. Rich. Powerful. Dangerous. "Very romantic," he said. "But the girl belongs to me." The man didn't speak. The alien grinned. You want her back? Then fight for her. Tomorrow. In the arena. Or die like the rest. The girl grabbed the man's hand. He stared at the alien. Then nodded once. Tomorrow. I'll make sure you regret everything. Smoke still danced in the air like ghosts. The floor of the flesh market was stained in alien blood. Dead bodies lay scattered, some with their eyes still open, frozen in fear. But the man didn't blink. He reloaded. Click. Clack. The sound of the shotgun echoed louder than the screams had. A statement. A promise. The girl stood beside him, her skin glowing slightly from the fight. Sweat mixed with dust. Her silver hair stuck to her shoulders. Her chest rose and fell with every breath, but her eyes were calm. They're still watching, she whispered. And they were. From above, behind metal glass, alien nobles stared down. Some furious. Some curious. Some entertained. They didn't see humans as people. They saw them as pets. As toys. As slaves. But that shot. That one, loud shot, it changed the story. Far above, the same golden-armored alien who challenged him earlier leaned over the balcony, sipping some glowing drink. Let him play hero, he said to the others. Tomorrow, we show the galaxy what happens when a human bites back. Back in the underlevels, the man and the girl ran through dark service tunnels, lit only by emergency lights. You came for me, she said after minutes of silence. He didn't answer. After all this time, you came back. He finally spoke, voice low. You were the only one worth coming back for. She looked away. Flushed slightly. They stopped at a rusted glass door. He banged his fist 3 times in a pattern. The door opened. Inside was a small, hidden bunker, old Earth tech everywhere. Maps. Weapons. Photos of missing humans. It wasn't just a hideout. It was a graveyard of memories. He walked to the table, picked up a dusty photo, him and her, years ago. Before she was taken. Before she was sold. She saw it too. I looked happier back then, she whispered. He replied, you looked free. He began checking his weapons. Shotgun. Knife. EMP discs. All laid out like old friends. She leaned against the wall, eyes locked on him. You know the arena's a trap, right? She asked. Of course. Then why walk into it? Because they think I'll play by their rules. He turned. Loaded one last shell. I never have. Flashback, 3 years earlier. A younger version of him, blooded, beaten, watched from a hidden vent as she was dragged away in chains. She didn't scream. She just looked back, lips forming one silent word. Live. And he did. He trained. He fought in off-world pits. He joined black market rebellions. He learned alien weapons. He survived for one reason, to return. Now. Back in the bunker, she was changing, wrapping herself in sleek black armor. Fitted. Deadly. She caught him staring. Like what you see, she teased. He didn't smile. Just said. You fight better than you flirt. She laughed softly. That's not what you said last time. He paused. Then looked her in the eyes. Last time, I was a soldier. Now I'm something worse. They left the bunker and headed toward the arena district. The city lights burned red in the sky. Sirens echoed. Bounty posters were already up, his face, hers, a high price. They're scared of you, she said. No, he said. They're scared of what I remind them. What's that? He looked ahead. That humans don't forget. Later that night, inside the arena. Thousands of aliens cheered as fire rained from the ceiling. Music blasted. Lights flashed. It was a show. In the center pit, standing under a spotlight, was him. Alone. The announcer's voice boomed. One human. No backup. No mercy. If he survives 10 waves, he wins the girl. She was in a cage, above the pit. Watching. Hands tied again. But her eyes, burning. He cracked his neck. Held the shotgun firm. Let's start the party. First gate opened. A massive 4-armed alien beast charged in, roaring. The man fired once. Missed on purpose. Let it get closer. Wanna see pain, he said. Let me show you Earth style. Then he dropped the shotgun and pulled a blade. For the first time in years, she woke up without chains. No guards. No collar. No filthy auction block. Just a cold steel room, the sound of his breathing, and a dim light above them both. She sat up slowly, her bruises fading thanks to stolen med gel. Her long silver hair spilled over her shoulder as she looked across the room at him. He hadn't slept. He stood near the wall, shotgun across his back, sharpening a blade slowly, like the motion calmed him more than rest ever could. You always did like knives, she said softly. He didn't answer. Just kept sharpening. The silence between them wasn't awkward. It was heavy, like both were holding memories they didn't know how to say out loud. She broke it first. Do you know what they called me when you were gone? He stopped. Slave? Toy, he asked without turning. She shook her head. They called me the one that broke him. That made him turn. His jaw clenched. His eyes, dark and tired, burned with rage. She smiled, not because it was funny, but because pain had become familiar. They said you vanished because I was weak. Because you failed to protect your favorite pet. He took a slow breath. Then walked to her. You're not a pet. And I didn't fail. No, she said. Then why was I tied to a pole in front of 1,000 drunk aliens, bidding on my body like I was a toy? He looked down. Silent again. But then he said it. Because I wasn't strong enough. Back then. She raised an eyebrow. And now? He leaned in close. His voice was cold, quiet, and full of fire. Now, I'm the reason they'll beg for mercy. Flashback, her past. 3 years ago, she wasn't a slave. She was a princess. Not of royalty, but of rebellion. Her people were traitors to the alien elite. They believed humans and hybrids deserved freedom. She helped smuggle slaves off-world. Taught them to fight. To resist. That's how she met him, the lost soldier, hiding in the ruins, angry at the universe. She trained him. Taught him alien tactics. He taught her how to shoot, how to stab, how to kill. They became something more. Not lovers, not yet, but coals pressed together in fire. Until one night, they were betrayed. An informant sold her location. They came for her. She fought. Lost. Was taken. And he disappeared. Now. She looked at him across the room. Where did you go, after they took me? He hesitated. To the worst places. Because I needed to become worse than them. He sat across from her. Pulled out a map. They're keeping human slaves in this facility. 30 levels deep. Guarded by the auction lords. Still trying to save everyone, she teased. No, he said. I'm trying to kill the ones who touched you. She paused. Then said quietly. You know I didn't scream. Not once. His hands tightened into fists. But I heard the others scream. That was it. That was the final crack in him. He stood. Walked to the weapon wall. Picked up a pulse grenade. Loaded his shotgun. Then we'll make them scream back. Later, alien auction headquarters. They walked into the front door, bold, armed, ready. A guard shouted. She threw a blade. Straight into his throat. He fired next. 2 guards down. Alarms blared. But this time, they didn't run. They walked straight through the chaos. Each hallway reminded her of cages. Of collars. Of touch she didn't ask for. Of humiliation. And now, she was painting those same walls with blood. Main hall, auction control room. A massive screen showed all slave cameras. Human women in chains. Men locked in shock collars. Children forced to serve. She froze. He saw her shake. Still think I shouldn't burn this place down, he asked. She wiped a tear. Just one. Start with the one who wore the gold mask. Already marked him, he said. His last. I want him to see what happens to his empire. Suddenly, the floor beneath them opened. Metal arms grabbed the girl. She screamed, the first time he ever heard her scream. She vanished into the floor, trapped. A screen lit up. The golden armored alien smirked. Want her back? Arena rules still apply. Tomorrow. If you're still breathing. He didn't blink. Then tomorrow, you die screaming. He didn't scream. Not when the floor swallowed her. Not when the wall slammed shut. Not even when the smug face of the golden armored alien lit up every screen around him. He just stared. Silent. Still. Well, the alien lord said, smiling, you made it this far, human. I'm impressed. Where is she? The man asked, voice flat like a blade ready to cut. Safe, he replied. For now. Of course, that depends on you. The man slowly cocked his shotgun, aiming at the nearest camera. He fired once. Boom. Sparks flew. The screen shattered. Wrong answer. The alien laughed. Still so violent. So predictable. But what if I gave you a choice? Cut to, deep underground, the girl's cell. She sat inside a glowing force field. No chains. No collar. But still a prisoner. A soft robotic voice echoed. You are being preserved. Awaiting final challenge. She leaned back, smirking. They still think I'm the prize. Then she whispered into a hidden MIC in her armband. He's gonna flip their world upside down. Back above, the alien lord's challenge room. A massive arena flickered to life. No audience this time, just a private stream beamed across the galaxy. Rich aliens were watching. Betting. Laughing. The alien lord stood in the VIP booth, sipping neon blue liquor. The game is simple, he said, voice booming across speakers. 10 creatures. 10 kills. You live, you win her. The man didn't respond. He stepped into the arena alone, shotgun loaded. Start the bet, the alien said. Wave 1, bone spiders. 6-legged aliens crawled out, fast and screeching. They spat acid. Bit hard. But the human didn't flinch. He dropped one with a single shot. Rolled under another. Shoved a knife in its gut. Stood up soaked in black blood. Next, he growled. Wave 2 to 4 are muscle hounds, winged scorpions, ice leeches. He took hits. Got cut. Bled. But he smiled through the pain. Every beast he killed, he looked straight at the camera. Straight at the alien lord. Like he was sending a message. Wave 5, mirror drone. This one was different. It looked like him. Same body. Same face. Same shotgun. He hesitated for half a second. Then smiled. Cute trick. The clone raised its weapon. But he was faster. Boom. The clone dropped. The man walked over and crushed its skull with his boot. I'm not that easy to copy. Cut to girl cell, watching the fight. She watched every second, gritting her teeth, heart pounding. A guard leaned in through the energy field. He's good, the guard said. He's not even trying yet, she replied. You still believe in him? He asked. She stood slowly, walked up to the edge, looked the guard dead in the eyes. He's not just a man, she said. He's a storm in human skin. Back in the arena, final wave approaches. The alien lord stood again. One last test. You win this, you get her back. The gate opened. The creature that walked out wasn't a beast. It was her. Collar on. Knife in hand. Empty eyes. The man's face froze. You monsters, he said softly. Kill her or die, the alien lord said. Let's see your heart bleed. The girl walked toward him slowly. She looked drugged. Controlled. Not herself. But then, she blinked. One eye glowed red. A signal. A tiny smirk curled on her lips. Play along, she whispered. He smiled. Stepped forward. Sorry, sweetheart, he said loud enough for the cameras. Looks like it's you or me. She lunged. They clashed, loud, violent, beautiful. Shotgun missed. Knife sliced. Sparks flew. The audience watching the private stream? Loving every second. Final moments of the fight. She tackled him to the ground, pinning him. Breathing heavy, knife at his throat, she whispered. Now. He grabbed the chip behind her ear and crushed it. She screamed. Not in pain, in fury. Her eyes turned normal. She kissed him, hard and fast, mid-battle. Then spun and threw her knife straight into the overhead camera. Blackout. VIP room, panic begins. What happened? The alien lord shouted. The screen turned back on. But it wasn't the man or the girl. It was a live stream from inside the auction system's core server. System breached, a robotic voice said. Human virus detected. The man's voice echoed over the PA system now. Bet on me? You should have bet on extinction. He never saw the blade. It wasn't alien steel. It was thin, clear, sharp, dipped in something that hissed when it touched skin. The man had just destroyed the server room, voice echoing across the system. You should have bet on extinction. And then? Stab. Right in his side. He dropped to one knee. The world twisted sideways. Lights dimmed. Everything blurred. His shotgun hit the ground. The girl caught him before he collapsed. No, 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 hey. Look at me. He blinked. His mouth moved, but no sound came out. The cameras were off. The system was fried. But the auction lord had a backup plan. And it was already running through his veins. Cut to High Tower, Alien Lord's chamber. The golden-armored alien stood by the window, swirling a glowing drink. Did you think it would be that easy? He whispered. Even wild dogs need to be put down. His assistant stepped forward. He's collapsing. The poison's working. The alien lord smirked. Good. Let the girl watch him die slowly. Maybe she'll behave once she's alone again. He turned back to the city, satisfied. Humans, always chasing fairy tales. Back underground, emergency med bay. The girl dragged his body across broken glass, his blood smearing the floor. Doors slammed shut behind her. She laid him on a table. Grabbed every med kit in sight. But none of them worked on the poison. It was alien grade, slow burning, smart. You idiot, she whispered. You couldn't just let me do this alone. He coughed. Barely awake. Voice rough. You look hot when you're mad. She froze, then smiled through her tears. Don't make jokes right now. You're dying. Still, got good taste in women though. She laughed, shaking her head. Shut up before I kill you myself. Then she turned serious. That poison, it's made to keep you awake. To make you feel everything. And it's going to shut down your heart in less than 10 minutes. Romantic, he muttered. There's only one cure, she said. But it's not here. She stood up, looked in the mirror, and pulled something from under her collar. A crystal. Glowing. Blue. Forbidden. This isn't for sale, she whispered. They keep it for the elite. The sick, the dying. The ones they want to keep useful. He blinked slowly. Where did you get that? She grinned. Let's just say I kissed the right monsters when I needed to. He groaned. I hate your exes. She crushed the crystal into liquid, poured it into a syringe, and without hesitation stabbed it straight into his chest. The effect was immediate. His eyes shot open. His chest jerked. His hand snapped up and grabbed her wrist, hard. Still alive, he said. Yeah, she replied. Now kiss me before I stab you again. And just like that, in the middle of blood, pain, and panic, they kissed. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't sweet. It was war meeting fire. Minutes later, planning room. He was up. Barely. Shirt ripped. Chest scarred. Eyes alive. They tried to poison me, he said. They failed, she added. So now we poison them. She pulled up a blueprint. The auction master's personal vault, it stores gene keys, slave IDs, override codes. Everything. Guarded. Like a queen's bedchamber. He smiled. Good. Let's mess the sheets. Meanwhile, High Tower. The alien lord paced. Why aren't they dead yet? He barked. His assistant stuttered. The girl, she must have found a cure. Then finish it, the lord snapped. Release Subject 9. Let the girl see what true loss looks like. Back underground, on the move. The man and the girl geared up. He wore scars like armor now. She wore fire in her eyes, hotter than ever. Ready to take your collar off for good? He asked. Only if you wear one next, she teased. Not into chains. Liar, she grinned. They moved fast. Quiet. Deadly. Cliffhanger, vault reached, but trapped. They reached the vault. Doors opened. Inside, data. Codes. Power. But also, a giant shadow. A creature. Half human. Half machine. Eyes red. Skin metal. Rage alive. It roared. Subject 9, the man whispered. What is it? She asked. Me, he said. If I had never met you. Subject 9 didn't speak. It roared. Louder than any alien beast. Louder than war. Its voice was pure rage, metal fused with old pain. The man raised his shotgun. The girl grabbed his arm. That thing looks like you. It was me, he said. Before you gave me a reason to fight back. Subject 9 charged. Boom. Crash. Fire. They were thrown across the vault. The room exploded into chaos. Subject 9 was fast, too fast. Its body was all muscle and wires. Its face was human, but empty. Hollow. It didn't feel. Didn't hesitate. Didn't care. The girl rolled, grabbed a shock blade, stabbed deep into Subject 9's leg. Nothing. He didn't flinch. Just backhanded her across the room. The man screamed, not in pain, but in fury. He tackled the monster. They crashed through metal walls. Flashback in sound, the past echoes. A robotic voice played from hidden speakers. Slave protocol, break. Obey. Forget. Another voice, distorted and cruel. Let the human die inside. Let only the body serve. That's what Subject 9 was. A failed experiment in obedience. A soldier with no soul. A warning of what could have happened. Now, blood on metal. Subject 9 slammed the man into a wall. Bones cracked. But the man grabbed his knife and stabbed it into the monster's eye. Sparks flew. I'm not your puppet, he growled. Subject 9 grabbed his throat. Tight. The girl, still dizzy, crawled toward a control panel near the vault. Come on, give me a weakness. She found a port. Plugged in a stolen alien tool. A screen lit up. Protocol list, slave_human_core. Line after line of names. IDs. Codes. Each one tagged as asset. She scrolled. And there she saw his name. His ID, 019 PRT, CH for Subject 9. Status, rejected. Emotionally resistant. Failed to break. Her hand trembled. He had already been processed. Tortured. Marked. But he survived. Back in the fight. Subject 9 tossed him across the vault. The man hit the ground, coughing blood. But he didn't quit. He stood. Limped. Spat out a tooth. You look like me, he said. But you forgot one thing. He grabbed his shotgun. Loaded the last shell. I still have someone to fight for. Boom. Shotgun to the chest. Subject 9 stumbled. The girl slammed a pipe into the control console. The vault sparked. A high-pitched frequency echoed. Subject 9 screamed, hands to its head. The protocol was breaking. Shut it down, she yelled. Now! The man ran forward. Grabbed Subject 9's head. And whispered. You could have been me. But I'll make sure no one else becomes you. He snapped the monster's neck. It collapsed. Silence. Smoke. Fire. He dropped beside the girl. You okay? Yeah. I think, she said. Then added, voice cracking. I saw your file. What they did to you. He didn't respond. She whispered, you should have broken. He looked into her eyes. You were the reason I didn't. System still online, final discovery. The screen blinked. Master control detected, auction_slave_global. What is this? She asked. He typed. Hundreds of control chips lit up. Billions of files. Every human slave across the system. Tracked. Controlled. Silenced. One signal ran it all. This is how they keep everyone broken, he said. She asked, can we shut it off? He shook his head. Not from here. It's hard-coded. Physical failsafe only. Where? The Citadel. The auction master's throne. Top floor. Of course it is, she groaned. He looked at her. Bloodied, bruised, exhausted. You don't have to come. She grabbed his face, kissed him hard. I'm not letting you have all the fun. Suddenly, alarms blared. A voice echoed citywide. Attention all units. The human and the girl have breached the vault. Kill on sight. Every screen lit up with their faces. And then, a video leak played. Their fight. The protocols. The abuse. The system. The galaxy was watching. The truth was out. Looks like they started the revolution, she smiled. He loaded his gun. Let's finish it. The city was quiet. Too quiet. After the broadcast leaked, after the whole galaxy saw the truth, no one knew what to do. Some ran. Some hid. Others waited. But the man and the girl? They climbed. Step by step, level by level, up the auction citadel, through blood, bullets, and broken machines, toward the throne of the one who started it all. The auction master. The golden-armored alien who smiled while others screamed. The one who said humans were pets. Property. Playthings. They reached the top floor. It was silent. Dark. Only one thing lit the room, a massive chair, shining under a soft golden light. And in that chair, leaning back like a king, was the auction master himself. He was still smiling. Well, he said, you two climbed high. I wonder how far you'll fall. The man didn't answer. Just cocked the shotgun. Clack. The sound echoed like a war drum. Cute, the alien said. But I don't bleed like the others. That's okay, the man said. I've got ammo for every kind. The girl stepped forward, voice low but sharp. We shut down your files. Your backups. Your control chips. You're done. The auction master stood slowly. You think this was about control? He asked. It was always about fear. Fear makes empires. Fear keeps monsters in cages. He looked straight at the man. And you, human, you are my biggest fear. A slave who remembers. Suddenly, the walls dropped. Dozens of elite guards stood ready, high-tech weapons pointed, glowing eyes locked. But the man didn't flinch. He looked at the girl. She nodded. And whispered. Let them come. The last fight began. Explosions. Blaster fire. Screams. He moved like fire, dodging, shooting, stabbing. She moved like lightning, flipping, slicing, hacking into enemy armor. Together, they weren't fighters. They were vengeance in motion. And when the smoke cleared, only one figure was still standing. Him. Bloodied. Tired. Rage in his eyes. The auction master was crawling away. His gold armor cracked. His face cut. The man walked up, slow, shotgun dragging behind him. You're not human, the alien spat. Exactly, the man said. Because no human would do what you did. He lifted the shotgun. Paused. Any last words? The alien smirked. You'll never erase what we did. The man lowered the gun, just a little. No. But I'll make sure your kind never forgets what happened when one of us stood up. He pulled the trigger. Boom. The golden helmet shattered. The auction master was gone. Silence. The girl walked beside him. Her face calm. Her eyes soft. It's done, she said. No, he replied. It just started. Cut to Global Control Panel. They activated the core failsafe, one button. One signal. And across every slave chip in the galaxy, a spark lit up. Collars opened. Shackles dropped. Humans everywhere stood tall again. Final scenes, weeks later. The market was empty now. The auction stages? Burned. The slave cages? Broken. In the center of it all, a new symbol stood, a black shotgun bolted into the concrete, like a sword in stone. A reminder of the day the galaxy heard his weapon speak. The girl walked beside him, now dressed in rebel gear. Hair tied back. Knife on her hip. So, what now? She asked. He looked at the horizon. Smoke still rising in the distance. Now, we build. Together, she asked. He turned. Smiled just a little. You still think I'm leaving you alone? She laughed. You tried once. Didn't go well. Didn't kiss you properly back then either. She stepped closer. Leaned in. Whispered with a grin. You still haven't. He kissed her. Deep. Real. Not because the world was safe, but because they'd earned it. Final shot. A crowd of former slaves gathers, led by humans. Flags raised. Rebels marching. And above the chaos, painted on a giant wall in fire-red letters. They tried to break us, now we break the system. End of series. They tried the alien slave in public, then my shotgun spoke.